when it comes to drawing detail, often the struggle is between drawing enough detail and not drawing too much, to find that balance between over drawing detail so that we swamp the actual subject and there's so much ink on the paper because of all the detail we've drawn that somehow we can't see the main thing clearly. In this case, we'd be talking about making it hard to actually see that cottage immediately because of all the detail that we've drawn. And yet we don't want to go the other way where we don't draw enough detail and we end up with something that looks cartoonish or just really strangely bare. And we don't capture the feel of the subject, which is often, and I think in this case it partly is, the charm of the scene. We leave out, in the end, a lot of the details that created the appeal that made us want to draw in the first place. So, what can we do? Let me explain my way of tackling this problem and of addressing the subject of detail and demonstrate it to you in this drawing of a head gardener's cottage in the grounds of some lovely estate in England somewhere. Because it is easy, once we find the balance, to take delight in capturing the detail that often attracted us to want to draw this scene. I'm drawing it with a 0.1mm pen on 210 GSM paper, and you're watching this at double speed right up until close to the end, when you'll watch it at 3 times speed when I do a lot of the foliage. If you'd like to see this at actual drawing speed, then use the cog icon to slow the video down to half speed, and that will give you my actual drawing speed. So here we have this cottage. Now the detail that we have here that creates a lot of the feel is actually the foliage, the flowers, the leaves, the shrubs, the trees. There's the cobblestones or the paving stones in front. There's a bit of detail on the gables. There's the detail of the tiling on the roof. A bit of decorative work, decorative stonework and or plaster work on the front of the house, and also those really great chimneys on top. So, how do we capture these? My general principle is that I don't want to draw the detail, I want to capture the feel of the detail, the effect of the detail. So I'm not trying to copy the shapes, I'm trying to find marks that create the same feeling, the same effect. And so that's what I'm doing, and that's what you're watching me do now. So for instance, I'm not trying to count with that framing porch doorway, if you like, with all the recessed sections going back. I'm not trying to count them and draw them exactly. I'm trying to capture that feel so that when you look at what I've drawn, straight away that's the feeling that you have, that this is the doorway that goes back. Equally with the wooden fretwork lining the underside of that gable at the front, I'm not trying to draw that same pattern exactly, precisely. In fact, part of the technique is to not try to start to draw it too exactly, because then it becomes hard to know how to loosen it up. The part of the thing is to find looser marks to begin with. Because with drawing the effect of the detail, there is no way to say, well, draw this way and this way. Formulas don't work for this, because exactly how we draw the detail depends on the overall scene, what other detail there's going to be, and where the detail is in relation to the foreground or the distance or in between, and also where it sits in or around the main subject. All of these things will affect exactly which marks will best work to create an overall scene. And that's why I usually always start with the main thing, because the main thing is meant to be the main thing. So I can go a little bit slower, put a little more ink on the paper, get some darker effects. And when I've drawn some of the effects in or around that main object, which in this case is this central porch area. Now I can start to judge what marks will be enough or not enough or too much as I progress the drawing. But if I were to start, say, in the bottom front corner with the garden there, on the right, bottom right corner, it would be very easy to overdraw that or to simplify it too much in a way that either way doesn't work for the overall scene. Because part of the profusion of a cottage scene are the textures that we have, such as on the road in front or the roofing and some of the other elements, and certainly the cottagey garden. Now this is a great trick if you haven't seen me do it. When we want a straight edge with our hatching, we put the paper where we want to have the straightest edge, and I find it more useful too to have that as the end point. So I can just flick off the paper, but note you can also go the other way, and I'm just being careful most of the time not to over flick up past the gutter. I began to do this and then I thought, oh, I don't think this is quite the same angle. It's not. So just get a stronger sense of what the angle is to line it up with what I've already drawn. Please hit that like button for me if you haven't already, or why not hit the hype button if you can see it there. That way you greatly help my channel. So continue in the hatching. So this drawing took me just over 30 minutes to draw in real time. I think about 35 minutes. So it was still a fairly fast sketch, but I've actually had this photo for a while. One of my children sent it to me in their travels because it was such a nice scene. I wanted to do it when I really felt like the moment was right. So now I've got the shadow here under this fretted wood fret decorative element, and I didn't want to start drawing it precisely because that would lock it into have to either be perfect or it would look odd. So I'm trying to keep the marks loose and create that sense of little ins and outs as well as a broader snaking pattern that we see. And then I notice that on the other side the shadow actually extends in a straight line before we get the little dents. So trying to work out what this all looks like. So capturing the effect of detail applies just as much to shadows as it does to actual objects. Anything that we're using ink for is in the running. Now at the very end of this, after I turned the camera off, I put a little more ink into that doorway shadow. So if you want to have a look at the thumbnail for the video, because I did it before I took the thumbnail photo, you will see that. So with the front garden here, I'm really wanting now for this to be very brisk and loose because the cottage is the main subject, and part of the way I maintain visually the impact and the clarity of seeing the cottage despite all the texture around it is to keep the cottage fairly bare, and fortunately the walls are relatively bare. And even you'll notice when I do some marks for the roofing, I keep it very light and, if you like, very sparse. I wanted to create a sense of difference between the roof and the walls, but not so much that the roof stands out more than the walls, because that's not the effect we get in life. I'm just doing my little trick here again. And the angle wasn't quite right. When I put the paper there, I realized it didn't line up angle-wise with what I'd done on the left-hand side. And so I had a wonderful opportunity to correct that. And it was quite easy to do. Always be on the lookout for ways we can correct things that we've already done. So I'm being able now to use lots of contrasting sorts of marks with my pen than I used for the house. And that's going to help separate visually, cognitively, the things that are the house and aren't the house. So lots of little dots and lots of little dashes to try and capture the feel of the very jagged effect on the silhouettes of these things. And I also don't want to overdraw the foliage, particularly here on the left-hand side where it's plainer and it's further away than the house. I don't want to overdraw it because that will have it come forward. I'm also trying to create the effect of distance, of further away, of sitting behind, because I want to get a sense of three-dimensionality from the lower right corner to the upper left corner. So look at those lines that I've used to capture the effects of those trees. And there's even several levels of depth. There's the very foreground. There's four actually in my mind. There's the very foreground right on the corner of the house. There's the bit immediately behind that, which is either a very small tree or a large shrub. And then there's two different types of trees that are further back and higher again. And notice I've tried to gradate the marks I've used, both how heavily I've drawn them and also how I've done those marks. And notice that for the furthest one, I didn't do a silhouette edge. The hatch-in lines, where they end and line up with each other, that creates the silhouette edge. And notice how much softer and feeling further away that edge is compared to the edge of the next nearest foliage, the second furthest trees away there. Now with these chimneys, I didn't want to do that decoration very heavily or clearly because then that would bring the chimneys forward, and I want them to sit back because they're on the other side of the roof. And so I kept them light, I kept them a little loose, not super lining everything up, and that was quite deliberately. So now I've also added the marks for the tiling, the slate, I imagine it is. And one thing, without again being too fussy about it, but I was trying to echo the fact that because this roof is sloping away from us, even though all the rows are equally distanced apart, as it slopes away, foreshortening means they appear to get closer and closer together. And so we have a greater gap at the gutter between the lines than we have at the top. So I tried to reflect that in a fairly casual way, again, without getting too precise about it. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. You'll notice how I put those lines on the photo. That was partly so that you could just see what I was focusing on at that point, but also partly because particularly when the lines aren't super clear and they can cross over with each other in our minds, it can be a helpful thing just to keep accuracy there. And so notice also with the garden bed to the right, I haven't tried to overdraw it. I've kept it fairly vague because it lets us quickly move past it to the cottage, which is the subject of this scene. And yet it reads as a profuse cottage garden just rambling everywhere, I think, quite happily. Again, trying to get the effect of these pavers without overdrawing them. I possibly did overdraw them a little bit, but I didn't try to draw them too precisely, which I think is a helpful thing. Few more adjustments and we're just about done. I hope you have a go drawing this yourself. You'll find the link to the reference photo in the description below. So why not go to it and have a go? It really was a very satisfying drawing to do. I hope you have a go drawing this yourself and putting some of these principles of the ways I think in order to capture the effect of the detail without it being overwhelming into practice yourself. So why not have a go? G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. I had a lot of fun drawing this. As I said, I've been holding this photo ready to draw for a while and I really had a great time with it. So I hope you give it a go, but in the end, whatever you draw, detail or not, and however it turns out, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.